Welcome back here in the Waking Sands in Final Fantasy XIV, where we take another turn in the Coil. Oh, that means we unlock the second part of the Realm Reborn raid, Coils of Bahamut. A crystal-choked abyss lies beneath a curtain of flats, the unholy cradle of an elder primal. And by thy hand where truths great and terrible wrestled from those once celestial depths. Yet, as is oft the case, the answer does breed a profusion of questions, and the unknown doth beckon with irresistible allure. Never have the mysteries of the Red Moon lain so neatly within our grasp. Lady Alice has sent word of her coming. 'Tis time once more to brave the precipice and leap, unflinching, into the jagged wound that doth gape beneath the land. Mine apologies. I trust I have not kept you waiting over long? Desiree, I'm both delivered and reassured to have you at my side once more. I would not waste your time with trivialities. Let us proceed directly to the discussion of that which we have learned, and that which we hope to learn anon. Initially, it was evidence of a new primal that led us to delve into the cavern beneath Castrum Occidens, and to explore the subterranean scars left after the fall of Bahamut. As you will well recall, what we found was a vast, largely intact fragment of a fallen satellite. And within the depths of that structure we discovered not the new primal we had expected, but the broken form of Bahamut himself. Yet even this great revelation would soon be overshadowed by the appearance of my own dear grandfather. I have since shared our sundry findings with Rambros, preeminent scholar of the Sons of Saint Koinag, and he in turn had kindly furnished me with his theory concerning the Elder Primal's Allagan prison. It would seem that Bahamut was constructed to gather unto itself the rays of the sun, and thence channel this radiant bounty unto the crystal tower. The ancients saw great potential in Bahamut's capacity to manipulate energies of otherwise unmanageable magnitude. It was for this reason that they did bind him within the Red Moon to serve as its living core. Do you remember the sight that greeted us at the culmination of our journey? The colossal devices that surrounded and seemed to cradle the incomplete form of the Elder Primal? From the information provided to us by the Sons of Saint Koinag, we have learned that these contraptions were termed internment hulks, and each bore the designation Ragnarok class. The purpose of these hulks is believed to be twofold. First, they are meant to act as binding coils, rendering Bahamut incapable of escape. And second, they are meant to feed him. Perversely, the self-same energy which prevents him from moving also serves to sustain his corporeal manifestation. Bahamut is permitted neither to die nor to truly live. He is merely allowed to be. For century upon century was the Elder Primal thus imprisoned, bound about in fetters so subtle in their working and yet so adamant that, though his cell be destroyed, Bahamut lieth yet at the mercy of his long-departed captors. It has long been held that the primals require the prayers of the faithful followers to exist, yet none alive worship Bahamut. Could it be then that the Allagans found a way to simulate prayer itself? It seems the only logical explanation. I would postulate, therefore, that the regenerative mechanism in question also supply something akin to the power of prayer. Consequently, if all of the internment hulks were to be rendered inactive, Bahamut should dissolve into the aether. Upon the evidence of my previous foray, we determined that the Elder Primal sustained but 3 such binding coils. Thus did we commence to scour the realm and found in the 12th wood an as yet unexplored fragment of the Lesser Moon, bearing a most familiar etheric signature. And after conducting a preliminary investigation, we believe we have discovered a point from which this north-shore fragment and the second of the interment hulks can be entered. As Eorzea's sword in the darkness, I would have you once more lead the charge. I will of course be there at your side. Once you have made your preparations, head to Falgold Float and make yourself known to my assistant, Serpent Lieutenant Anella. The fallen fragment is not far from the settlement, and her position provides a convenient rendezvous point. I will break these Allagan fetters, for I bind my grandfather as surely as I bind Bahamut. Desiree Klingor, I've been expecting you. My name is Anella. I've been accorded the rank of lieutenant within the Order of the Twin Adder, but then I better serve Lady Alisaie with her endeavors here in the 12th Wood. Such authority has allowed me to act without interference from the local soldiery and to conduct preliminary investigation of the Elder Springs fragment. From what we have seen of the exterior, the structure shares many common features with the one you explored in Lanashire, and likely plays host to a similar complement of guardians. But I fear words alone will do little to prepare you for what lies ahead. Pray seek out my comrade to the south and west. He is charged with observing all that occurs in the vicinity of the fragment, and will be well placed to show you the thing, if nothing less. What business brings you to this broken land? Unless you fancy being ground to a bloody pulp by the granite fists of a wandering golem, I suggest you bugger... Alisaie sent me. Oh, my apologies, madam. Lady Alisaie did send word of your impending arrival, but it would seem I've grown rather too accustomed to shooing away curious sellswords and reckless explorers. Behold, if you will, one of the fallen shards of a red moon, Bahamut. Our initial survey uncovered no evidence of the Empire's presence, which, while fortunate in itself, meant that the approach to the fragment had yet to be cleared. After much effort, however, we succeeded in carving out a semblance of a path which should grant you access to the entrance. And that, I'm afraid, is where our progress ended. The interior, well, assuming that the architecture of this hulk resembles the first, the master control you seek will be located on the bottommost layer, past all the ingenious and deadly defenses of which the ancient Allagans seemed so indecently fond. If you would know more, I'm afraid there's nothing for it but to brave the depths of a fragment yourself. Lady Alisaie will soon be arriving at Falgold Float. Pray do not tarry on your way back to the lieutenant's spot. I imagine our young mistress will be most eager to commence the expedition. The road ahead promises peril aplenty, and I would humbly suggest that this is not the occasion to stint on preparations or provisions. May the 12 watch over you. Mr. Klingor, I trust the private explanation was worth a journey? Simply the securing an approach to a fragment entrance proved a monumental task. I do not think that defeating its inner defenses will entail. If there's aught I might do to aid you... Lady... my apologies, Master Alvino. Has there been a change of plans? Rianji informed me of the impending expedition. I merely came to exchange a few words from her fellow Sign before she disappeared into the depths of a second coil. Desiree, though I would strenuously deny it were she present, my sister's admiration and affection for our grandsire exceeds even mine own. Upon the matter of its legacy, therefore, Alice is wont to go above and beyond the call of duty. In our grandsire's absence, she has made the salvation of Eorzea her personal crusade. It was that which prompted her to brave the perils of the first Coil. Yet the fact that she risked her life in this manner is not the greatest of my concerns. No, it's her subsequent fixation upon my grandfather's shade that worries me most. This quest to rid the world of Bahamut must not become a quest to save a man long dead. My sister must needs have a better reason to fight. A time will come when the fate of the realm rests upon our shoulders, and when it does, we must be strong in our resolve, and certain of the stakes for which we risk all. There's a wide difference between fighting for the good of Eorzea and fighting for the love of a man who died for the good of Eorzea. Alice must choose her own path. She cannot rely on grandfather to choose it for her, for he is gone. I'm glad it is you with whom she makes this journey. If Alice is to discover a deeper purpose, then where better to find one than at the site of Eorzea's greatest champion. It was there that I found mine, after all. But it's past time I was gone. Fair fortune in your endeavors, Desiree. Lieutenant Anael, was it? I would appreciate you making no mention of my presence here to my sister. Lady Alice is due to arrive at any moment. I shall abide in confident expectation of your triumphant return. The second coil of Bahamut now accessible. How strange. Why could we not see all this before? I suppose it's only to be expected that corrupted crystal should accompany a disturbance of this magnitude. After all, the fragment likely pierced the ground to a depth of many hundred of yards. The swirling ether leaking from the wound must warp very air, creating a veil that hides these formations from view. Well, it's not as if we expected this to be a straightforward task. Let's read carefully, shall we, Desiree? It is imperative that we win through to the depths of the structure and disable the mechanism that powers Bahamut's regeneration. Of course, if we should chance to encounter my grandfather upon the way, I shall not let him go again, not while there is hope that he may yet be saved. But mayhap we should put such thoughts from our minds until after we have successfully gained entrance to the place. That opening up ahead appears to be a suitable point of ingress. That armor. No, it couldn't be. Be on your guard, Desiree. But what defies all reason that he should live? I know of only one who wears such armor. He whom the Empire raised as high as the Black Wolf himself, the legatus of the 7th Legion. I speak of a madman who brought the Meteor Project to fruition. We face the White Raven, Nail Vandanus, harbinger of the 7th Umbral Era. Nail Van Darnus. Ah, that was the name of a fool who perished upon the eve of a promised age of glory. It should not be uttered within these hallowed halls. Out of love for his loyal servant, the one true deity named me Nail Deus Darnus. The one true deity? Bahamut. He speaks of Bahamut. O Lord Bahamut, thy name is as sweet water to parched lips. How my heart swells at thy sacred touch. This blessed sanctum is the domain of my God and his beloved children. Seek to defile its glory, and you will answer to me. How is this possible? From what Alphinus told me, Nil was slain on the eve of a calamity. Whatever the truth of the matter, we must be on our guard. There can be no reasoning with the worshippers of a primal. I'm reminded of the passages beneath custom Occidents. We must have traveled quite some distance below the surface. More of the same tunnels, 12 be good. Surely they cannot continue all the way down from the upper floors. It is difficult to see inside, but I have a terrible feeling those corridors house more of the dreadful guardians you have already faced. It's said that the Allegans excelled in the creation of chimerical beasts, and that the Red Moon teemed with 1,000 fanatical monstrosities, all to prevent the enemies of the ancient empire from releasing the Elder Primal. I wonder, the creatures that prowl these halls, could they be the beloved children of which Nail spoke? Well, this is yet another mystery to ponder upon our return. Shall we continue onward? That surely cannot be Bahamut. How? Where are we? The final resting place of Nail Van Darnus. This is a grave for the undeserving. And for a crime of trespassing upon my God's sanctuary, this place shall serve as your grave too. No! In the hour of his failure, Nail Vandanos felt the currents of aether begin to bear away his essence. But before oblivion could claim the last of him, a divine will reached out, and I was born. Then did the words of my God resound in my ears. Bring unto mine enemies crushing defeat, that they might know despair without end, and claim thee thus the victory which thou wert once denied. It would seem that little remained of Nail's essence when Bahamut plucked him from the brink of oblivion, and the result was the strange simulacrum. Nevertheless, her aura bespeaks great power. She channels the rage of the Elder Primal himself. Lord Bahamut, thy wish is my command. None shall escape thine unquenchable fury. Come, ye dull, unthinking beasts, bare your teeth. They will avail you naught in the calamity to come. The second coil is complete. Poor creature, would that you had never been born. You had surrendered your physical form and collapsed into aether, but Bahamut denied you death and imprisoned what little was left of you in an ethereal shell resembling what, I wonder? Images from a memory, perhaps? But that shell is now broken, and your primal deity seems disinclined to sustain your existence. My primal deity? I kneel to no icon. What need have I to beg the favor of such filth? I am Nail Vandanis, legatus of the 7th Legion. No, a moment. My thoughts are clouded, and this body is not mine own. Could it be that you spoke the truth? Was I ensorcelled by the Lesser Moon's ancient prisoner? This will not happen again. You speak as if Bahamut no longer controlled you, but that's impossible. Once a primal ensnares a mind, it cannot be freed. Unless Bahamut simply relinquished his claim. What need has he of a broken spirit bound for the ethereal realm? Ah, that I should fall prey to the very influence I sought to purge from the land. The irony is galling. But not assume that all of my actions were chosen for me. It was my will that the Meteor Project be resurrected. Mine and none other. Yet it seems that my grand designs were destined to fail. Even the ungentle release of death was denied me. Nay, please, you must tell us more of the calamity. I must know the truth of what has befallen the world. And what has become of my grandfather, Akon Louisois. You are Louisois' grandchild? The fates are generous with their cruelty. Continue on if you would have your answers. They await you at the terminus of your path. But know that this path leads only to despair. The light of truth was ever harsh and unforgiving. Why do you say this? Grandfather will be freed once we put a stop to Bahamut's restoration, will he not? What are you not telling us? Steel yourself, child. Only unbending resolve and merciless strength can conquer what lies ahead. The weak can do naught but weep under the pall of their own misery, as did the frail child I once was. Silence, chattering raven. Your wretched wings are broken, and you shall soar no more. My crimson moon, your brilliance sears mine eyes. I recognize that voice, Desiree, but never would he say such words. Come, let us finish what we came to do. All will be put right when the final hulk lies dormant. Grandfather will be himself again. I'm sure of it. Bahamut regenerates more swiftly than I had anticipated. Let us hope that disabling this coil will serve to slow the process. The display seems different, but the controls appear to mimic the mechanism we found in the Lanosian Hulk. This shouldn't be a problem. Desiree, forgive me. The moment I beheld Nail's transformation, hope wilted in my heart. I did not believe you could stand against the manifestation of Bahamut's power. For all your fabled strength and skill, I felt certain that I was going to lose you, just like I lost grandfather. Even he, a man for whom naught seemed impossible, was humbled before Bahamut's might. And yet, look how far we've come. It is incredible the feats of which we are capable, our boundless potential. It was this capacity for greatness, I believe, that grandfather so dearly wished to protect. With all that has occurred, I have come to understand that much, at least. It is done. Shall we make our way back to the surface and gather our thoughts? We have seen much that would benefit from Rianji's learned perspective. right? Grandfather? It is you. Then why? Abandon this quest, Alize. I will not countenance further sabotage of the coils. Sabotage? But we must disable the coils to prevent Bahamut's revival. Your defiance seals your fate. No. No, you are not who I thought you were. My grandfather would never... Foolish girl. How could the White Raven allow herself to be bested by such sniveling opponents? Listen well. We all exist for the pleasure of one divine will. And the word of Lord Bahamut is absolute. Scurry back to your holes, vermin. You have been granted this one reprieve, but should you be so foolish as to crawl into my lord's domain again, I will crush the life from you myself. That light in grandfather's eyes. He has suffered the same fate as Nail. My grandsire is no more. It was naught but a phantom that profanes his noble memory. This mockery must be expunged. I will not rest until I free grandfather's soul from Bahamut's tyranny. Do you hear me, Bahamut? Your time is at an end. Eorzea and my family will be avenged. Truly, it is wonderful to escape that stifling air and return to, Fanalan again, it would appear. I must thank you, Desiree. Were it not for your bravery, I strongly doubt that I would be standing here today. But you need not tarry on my account. The danger has passed. Pray go on ahead and apprise Urianger of all that has occurred. I will join you anon. My thoughts are yet unruly, and I would rest a while. The triumphant hero doth return, by an ice spark of a dread task's completion. The second coil now lieth dormant. Yet I sense the tidings of our bearers are not altogether glad. Pray tell me, what ill has cast the shadow which falleth now across thy brow? An old foe and an old friend. So it was but the ethereal shadow of Master Louis that Lady Alize beheld, an unnatural conjuration enthralled to the elder primal. If the fiend should deign to choose him of all men, even in full knowledge of a shade's true nature, I would be hard-pressed to weather such a confrontation. Yet what agonies must the young mistress have endured? Such torment did she never deserve. Mayhap it were better if Lady Alize did absent herself from future forays into the coils. I have come too far to surrender to grief, Urianger. My lady, I am resolved to defeat these fiends, and naught shall sway me from my path. Now, let us peer more deeply into the well of our discoveries. As you wish, my lady. By your leave, I would speak first of the coil's late guardian, Nail Vandanis. Vandanis was a legatus of the Garlean Empire, who strove to bring about Eorzea's final destruction, only to fall even as the sixth sun did set. If thou hast heard tales of a White Raven, then it is he of whom they speak. He, I say, for Nail was for a certainty no mate. The noble house of Vandanes, as we discovered all too late, had long safeguarded the wisdom of ancient Alak. It was thus that the legatus came to learn the true nature of Bahamut, and to seek to employ the Red Moon as a weapon against Eorzea. But the Crystal Tower and the mechanisms required to command the satellite yet lay hidden beneath the ground, compelling Nail to construct a far less subtle mechanism. In his first faltering attempts to communicate with Bahamut, he did likely rouse the satellite's slumbering prisoner. Thenceforth did the White Raven's soul belong to Bahamut. He was fortunate indeed to acquire so powerful a thrall by chance. 'Tis little wonder he was so loath to part with him. Why let a simple thing like death deprive one of so useful a pawn? Though we may accuse him of bungling Vandanes' resurrection, I dare say Bahamut was as content with a handmaiden as a manservant. I only hope that the two thralls we encounter are the extent of his flock. Yet I cannot help but dwell on Nail's words, those beloved children of whom he spoke. I assumed at first that he referred to the moon's beastly guardians, but should Bahamut have enslaved other mortals, we must needs remove this source of worship, otherwise our efforts to disable the coils shall be for naught. Forgive me mine indelicacy, my lady. Thou art wise indeed to speak of expunging the primal's thralls, but canst thou truly pursue a curse which would cost thee thine own grandsire? My heart and mind are as one on this matter. Grandfather's salvation can be won but by a single method, the destruction of Bahamut and all that might serve to sustain him. Desiree, while Urianger and I endeavor to ascertain the existence of any further thralls, I suggest you grant yourself a moment's respite. Rest assured that I will contact you the moment I have need of your inimitable talents. That we have achieved so much I owe to you. I fear, however, that our trials have barely begun. Though time has dulled the pain of our passing, I find that I am wounded afresh. Master Louisoix, what good shall come of this unending search for knowledge and truth? Long have I believed the pursuit of such treasures to be the duty of every true Sharlayan. Yet, when each new revelation serveth only to heap further anguish upon those whom we would fain protect, must we truly reach for more? So you have found your resolve, dear sister. Will you now find a use for the secret? With a key that only you and I hold? Given our familiar propensity for curiosity, you would do well to remember that keys may serve to seal doors as well as to unlock them, and Bahamut is a most unwelcome guest, to whom the door should never have been opened. And that was the second coil, in its entirety.